Welcome back to our channel, your premier destination for the most captivating updates from the glamorous and treacherous world of Los Angeles. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the intricate webs of passion, betrayal, and high-stakes fashion that define our favorite families. Let's unpack the explosive drama awaiting us. The shimmering lights of the global stage are reflecting in Katie Logan Spencer's eyes as she stands at the precipice of an unprecedented triumph. The premiere of the Logan fashion event has not merely succeeded. It has shattered expectations, broadcasting its dazzling debut collection across colossal billboards spanning the globe. Liam Spencer, observing the sheer magnitude of this corporate victory, cannot help but acknowledge the earth-shattering impact of the launch. Yet beneath the veneer of popping champagne corks and the blinding flashes of paparazzi cameras, a profound and inescapable tension thrums through Katie's veins. This is a victory built on borrowed brilliance, a spectacular empire erected on the foundation of stolen genius. Katie, flanked by the relentlessly supportive and ruthlessly ambitious Bill Spencer, is drinking in the applause. But the sweet taste of success is inevitably laced with the bitter poison of impending consequence. Bill Spencer stands beside Katie like an impenetrable fortress, a titan of industry who views the world not in terms of familial loyalty, but as a battlefield where only the boldest survive. He has been the architect of her confidence, constantly whispering assurances that they are entirely justified in claiming Eric Forster's designs as their own. Bill's philosophy is simple. Eric made a promise, and in the cutthroat arena of high fashion, broken promises are paid for in blood and market share. However, Katie's soul is far more fragile than her partner's ironclad exterior. As she forces a radiant smile for the throngs of adoring media, a heavy, suffocating dread anchors her heart. She knows the Forster family will not take this humiliation lying down. She has effectively declared a brutal, unforgiving war against the very people she once called family, and the psychological toll of this betrayal is a phantom that haunts her every waking moment amidst the celebrations. The central pillar of this impending catastrophe is none other than Eric Forster himself. The patriarch of the Forster dynasty is a man of immense pride, unparalleled talent, and a legacy that spans decades. To see his unfinished, highly personal designs paraded under the banner of the Logan brand is an insult of catastrophic proportions. The millions of dollars pouring into Katie and Bill's coffers are directly siphoned from Eric's intellectual property. The whispers circulating through the elite circles of Los Angeles suggest that Eric is preparing to unleash a legal firestorm unlike anything the fashion world has ever witnessed. A massive lawsuit looms on the horizon, threatening to strip the Logan brand of its newfound wealth and plunge Katie into a devastating courtroom battle. This is no longer merely a sibling rivalry between Katie and Brooke. It is a fight for the very soul of Eric's legacy, and the patriarch is poised to strike back with the fury of a wounded lion. The collateral damage of this spectacular launch extends far beyond the boardroom, deeply fracturing the already fragile bonds of the Logan sisters. Brooke Logan Forster and Ridge Forster are watching the broadcast of Katie's triumph with a mixture of absolute disgust and unbridled fury. To Brooke, Katie's actions are a grotesque manifestation of greed and a blatant desecration of the man they both revere. The emotional chasm between the sisters has widened into an unbridgeable abyss. Ridge, fiercely protective of his father's honor, is actively strategizing a devastating retaliation. The Forster Creations empire is mobilizing its vast resources, preparing to crush the Logan brand before it can establish a permanent foothold. The dramatic atmosphere within the Forster mansion is suffocating, thick with the promise of vengeance and the heartbreaking realization that family loyalty has been completely sacrificed on the altar of ambition and corporate supremacy. While the immediate aftermath of the debut collection is a whirlwind of celebration and legal anxiety, a far more pressing, existential crisis is quietly brewing within the newly minted Logan empire. The undeniable truth is that Eric Forster will never design another garment for Katie. His well of creativity is permanently sealed off from them. Consequently, Katie and Bill are thrust into a desperate, high-stakes hunt for a new visionary designer who can sustain the momentum of their explosive launch. They need a creative genius who can step out of Eric's colossal shadow and forge a unique identity for the Logan brand. The pressure to deliver a sophomore collection that matches the brilliance of the first is a terrifying burden, and the clock is relentlessly ticking. The fashion industry is notoriously unforgiving, and a single misstep could transform their current triumph into a spectacular, highly publicized failure. In a twist of fate that could fundamentally alter the landscape of Los Angeles fashion, the perfect candidates for the Logan brand might be languishing within the walls of Forster Creations itself. Hope Logan Spencer has been increasingly marginalized, her creative voice consistently stifled by the authoritarian reign of Steffi Forster Finnegan. Steffi's relentless prioritization of the core Forster lines has pushed Hope's vision to the periphery, breeding a deep, simmering resentment. Hope is a woman of immense talent and profound passion, yet she finds herself suffocating under Steffi's heavy-handed management. This internal conflict within Forster Creations presents a golden, unprecedented opportunity for Katie and Bill. If Hope feels that her legacy is being systematically dismantled by Steffi, the allure of defecting to the Logan brand, a company desperate for a marquee name and willing to grant absolute creative freedom, might become an irresistible temptation. The potential exodus from Forster Creations does not end with Hope. Deke Sharp, another brilliant creative mind, is caught in the crossfire of this escalating corporate war. Speculation is running rampant that if Steffi does not drastically alter her dictatorial approach, both Hope and Deke could orchestrate a shocking defection to the Logan brand. Such a move would be a cataclysmic blow to Forster Creations, simultaneously draining them of top-tier talent while supercharging their most hated rival. The dramatic irony of Hope, a Logan, leaving the Forster sanctuary to build an empire that rivals them is a narrative dripping with poetic justice and explosive potential. Katie and Bill are undoubtedly circling like sharks, recognizing that acquiring Hope and Deke would not only solve their designer crisis, but also serve as the ultimate, humiliating retaliation against Steffi and Ridge. The boardroom chess match is reaching a fever pitch, with every move carrying monumental consequences. As the titans of industry clash in the boardrooms, a deeply personal and agonizing conflict is unfolding in the heart of Forster Creations. Electra Forster finds herself standing at a terrifying crossroads, burdened by a choice that will irrevocably define her future. Having recently vanquished her manipulative aunt, Ivy Forster, and assumed the crushing responsibility of running the Forster jewelry line, Electra is already buckling under the weight of professional expectations. However, it is her fractured heart that is causing her the most profound torment. She is deeply, irrevocably in love with Will Spencer, the man whose heart she broke due to Ivy's toxic machinations. The revelation of Ivy's deceit has cleared the air, but the emotional wreckage remains. Electra must decide if the shattered pieces of their romance can truly be glued back together, or if the scars of betrayal are simply too deep to heal. Will Spencer represents a love that is pure, passionate, and tragically interrupted. When Electra looks into his eyes, she sees the ghost of the beautiful future they were meant to share before Ivy's interference poisoned their bond. Will is desperate to reclaim what they lost, his heart yearning for the woman he never truly stopped loving. Yet, the path back to each other is fraught with insecurity and lingering doubts. The shadow of Melissa Dillon, who briefly occupied Will's orbit during their separation, still looms large in Electra's mind. Can Electra truly trust that Will's heart belongs solely to her? Can she forgive herself for so easily falling prey to Ivy's lies and doubting the man she loved? The internal monologue torturing Electra is a symphony of regret, hope, and paralyzing fear, making her desperate yearning for Will a complicated, agonizing emotional labyrinth. Complicating this delicate emotional ecosystem is the undeniable, magnetic pull of R.J. Forrester. While Will represents a fractured past, R.J. embodies a thrilling, uncharted future. R.J. has been a constant presence, a source of unexpected comfort and undeniable chemistry during Electra's darkest hours. He offers a different kind of safety, a connection rooted in their shared Forrester legacy and a mutual understanding of the immense pressures that come with their surname. R.J.'s attraction to Electra is fierce and unapologetic, and he is not a man who easily accepts defeat. As Electra grapples with her profound exhaustion from the jewelry line and the emotional whiplash of Ivy's betrayal, R.J.'s steadfast, uncomplicated desire presents an incredibly seductive alternative to the messy, painful work of rebuilding her relationship with Will. She is torn between the ghost of a perfect love and the tangible heat of a new, dangerous passion. The love triangle between Electra, Will, and R.J. is not merely a romantic entanglement. It is rapidly mutating into a toxic, combustible rivalry that threatens to tear the Forrester design offices apart. The animosity between Will and R.J. has reached a boiling point, their every interaction dripping with barely concealed venom. R.J. is infuriated by Will's continued presence at the company, viewing him not only as a romantic rival, but as an interloper who does not belong in the sacred halls of Forrester Creations. Will, conversely, remains infuriatingly stoic, absorbing R.J.'s insults with a calm, calculated demeanor that only serves to enrage R.J. further. Will's pointed reminder that R.J. is not a real Forrester was a masterstroke of psychological warfare, striking at the very core of R.J.'s deepest insecurities. The tension between these two young men is a ticking time bomb, ready to detonate and cause massive collateral damage to everyone caught in their blast radius. Beyond the romantic jealousy, a far more sinister suspicion is beginning to take root within the Forrester ranks regarding Will Spencer. With the Logan brand, spearheaded by Will's father and aunt, launching a devastatingly successful attack on the Forrester legacy, Will's position within Forrester Creations is suddenly viewed through a lens of extreme paranoia. Is Will merely in turn trying to learn the business, or is he a highly placed corporate spy, funneling sensitive information, upcoming trends, and internal strategies directly to Bill and Katie? The timing of the Logan brand's explosive success, coupled with Will's unprecedented access to Forrester's inner workings, is too coincidental for R.J. and Ridge to ignore. Will is walking a terrifying tightrope, his loyalty questioned at every turn, and his every move scrutinized for signs of betrayal. The intersection of family warfare and corporate espionage is creating an atmosphere of suffocating mistrust. While the bright lights of the fashion world illuminate the battles of the Logans and Forresters, a dark, ominous shadow is creeping through the underbelly of Los Angeles. Sheila Carter Sharp, a woman whose very name strikes terror into the hearts of the city's elite, has been terrifyingly quiet for an entire week. For a woman whose natural state is chaos, manipulation, and explosive confrontation, this prolonged silence is not a sign of peace. It is the terrifying calm before a catastrophic storm. Sheila is a predator, and when a predator goes silent, it means they are stalking their prey. Her current obsession is the reclamation of Deacon Sharp, a man who has foolishly believed he could escape her toxic gravitational pull to build a future with Taylor Hayes. Sheila's mind is a labyrinth of dark machinations, and this period of quiet is undoubtedly being used to meticulously craft a plot of unparalleled devastation. The psychological underpinnings of Sheila's obsession with Deacon are deeply rooted in her pathological need for control and validation. She views Deacon not merely as a lover, but as a possession, a man she broke and remade in her own twisted image. The sight of him finding genuine happiness and stability with Taylor Hayes is an intolerable affront to her ego. Sheila is utterly incapable of letting go. She is currently operating under the radar, projecting a false veneer of acceptance while secretly laying the groundwork to obliterate Taylor and Deacon's romance. She will use every dirty trick, every manipulation, and every ounce of her sociopathic brilliance to drive a wedge between them. The tragedy is that Sheila's talents could be channeled into legitimate success. She should be fighting tooth and nail to build an empire out of Il Giardino, establishing herself as a legitimate businesswoman. However, Sheila's tragic flaw is her inability to choose ambition over obsession. She would rather burn the world to the ground to possess a man who no longer wants her than build a kingdom of her own. As the week progresses, the audience is left waiting with bated breath for the inevitable moment when Sheila's meticulously constructed trap springs shut. Taylor Hayes, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking in the shadows, is walking directly into the crosshairs of a woman who has no boundaries and no conscience. The juxtaposition of the glamorous, high-stakes boardroom battles at Forrester and Logan with the gritty, life-or-death psychological warfare being waged by Sheila Carter creates a narrative tapestry of unparalleled richness and intensity. Los Angeles is a city built on dreams, but as the events of this week will prove, it is also a city where nightmares can step out of the shadows and destroy everything in an instant. The impending collision of these monumental storylines promises an era of unprecedented television drama. Katie's hollow victory, haunted by the specter of Eric's wrath and the desperate need for a new creative savior, sets the stage for a corporate bloodbath. The potential defection of Hope and Deke threatens to rewrite the very DNA of the fashion industry, shifting the balance of power permanently. Meanwhile, Electra's agonizing choice between the ghosts of her past with Will and the fiery temptation of RJ is a masterclass in emotional storytelling, further complicated by the poisonous accusations of corporate espionage. And beneath it all, the silent, terrifying machinations of Sheila Carter promise a reckoning that will leave no soul untouched. The board is set, the pieces are moving, and the fallout from these explosive decisions will echo through the halls of Forrester Creations, the Logan Empire, and the dark corners of Los Angeles for years to come. The drama is intoxicating. The stakes are absolute.